Good morning, everyone. One more time. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to. I'm good. Thanks for the question. Good morning, and welcome to Brown University. We are so excited to see the faces of so many of you. You've been names for a long time, so to see you here in person is really special. My name is Olubenga Joseph, and I am currently the assistant to the president for special projects here at Brown. I'm a proud Brown alum myself, and I'm from Providence, Rhode Island, and so I'm really excited to welcome you to familiar territory. I want to take a little pulse of the room. So raise your hand if you're from Providence. Take a look around. Okay, there's a lot of us. Raise your hand if you're from Central Falls. Okay, Central Falls, welcome, welcome. And raise your hand if you're from Pawtucket. Okay, front rows, I see you. And raise your hand if you're from somewhere I didn't mention. Okay, where you all from in the back? Massachusetts. Welcome to Rhode Island. And right here. From Boston? Welcome, welcome. You're an hour away, I think, by train. So we're actually gonna get our speaking program, our formal speaking program started roughly at 9 o'clock, but before doing so, I wanted to say a couple things. First, welcome again to Brown University. And then the second thing is what is going to be happening today. My colleague Nikita will explain in greater detail, but for many of you, this might be your first time on a college campus. For some of you, this might be a return to Brown, or you've seen college campuses before. I think regardless of your relationship to university, our hope here is that by coming to College Day at Brown, you can sort of start charting your own higher education journey in community. And so we have a couple things happening today. You'll have the chance to meet some Brown faculty and staff. You'll interface with Brown students. Many of us are wearing the yellow version of the shirts you have on today. And you'll also have the chance to meet with students over lunch in the Sharp Refectory. We call it the Ratty for short. That says nothing about the quality of the food. The food is great. We just call it the Ratty out of affection. But with that, I actually want to turn it over to a very important person for us here today, our Master of Ceremonies. So to my right, I have our Master of Ceremonies, Nikita. Nikita is currently a senior here at Brown studying public health with a focus in reproductive health and justice. On campus, Nikita holds a number of community positions, including Minority Peer Counselor through the Brown Center for Students of Color. And Nikita is also the co-editor-in-chief of Somos, which is the Latinx literary magazine here at Brown. Let's give a very loud round of applause for our MC, Nikita.
Thank you so much. Hello. For the counselors and teachers, I don't know if any of you are repeating, but you might have seen me last year. It is my absolute pleasure to be here again, and I just hope to be interacting with all of you. I know last year I took in a lot of questions. So as far as Oluwenga was saying, just some logistics first, and then I'll just kind of talk to you, and it'll be a bit more casual. Please keep your name tags on all day, because if you get lost, we're gonna need to know who you are. And also your t-shirts are pretty important for that reason. And again, I said this a million times last year, I was like, if you get lost, come back here, and someone will be here to help you. Yeah, so this campus for a lot of students seems pretty small. As people that are new here, it can be really big and overwhelming. So there's all the people in the yellow shirts that are here to help you. And if you stay with your groups that you'll be split into later, everything should be okay. You won't get lost. Hopefully you'll have a lot of fun. And if you do get lost, you can always ask a student, any student. Everyone will be happy to help you where Sales Hall is, and they'll tell you. Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit more about myself. My name is Nikita. I am a senior here. I took a gap year, and I spent some of it with my family in Guatemala. So any Guatemalans here? Hello? There we go. Yeah, so I had the best time there. I was working with midwives in rural Guatemala. I came back here, and that was kind of my focus in reproductive justice, reproductive health. So I am on the pre-med track. If any of you are interested in that, feel free to come up to me. Also, let's talk a little bit about Brown. So if anyone has questions about that, can you raise your hand, actually? Any questions about Brown you have for me? Any questions about me? If not, I'll just talk. Okay, I'm gonna just talk. So, when I applied here, we'll start with that. I had no idea what Brown was. I had no idea where I was going. I just had a friend that said they wanted to apply here, and I was like, sure, why not? And then I ended up being the second person from my high school to come here. So that was very, very exciting. And it was a predominantly white high school, so it was also a very interesting dynamic to be that like brown kid that came here. But as Oluwenga said, I am also a minority peer counselor through the Brown Center for Students of Color, which means that we have a lot of great community for students of color, and it's my pride and joy to be a facilitator of those communities. Okay, with that, I'm gonna pause again. Any questions? I'm gonna come out to the crowd, actually, so people can take the mic. We'll do that. People like taking the mic, so hopefully it'll encourage you to ask questions. Okay, any questions now? Still no? Oh, there's one, cool. Oh, you don't need the mic? Okay, yeah, so I'm actually not from Providence. I am from this kind of suburban / rural area in Texas, about 35 minutes north of Houston. It's from a town called Tomball, so you can imagine how that was for me. Yes. One of the biggest surprises, the amount of freedom. Like you could just come up with your own schedule, you could come up with your own classes. Like I said, I'm public health and pre-med, and every single semester I've taken a class, something completely random, from botany, creative nonfiction, nature writing, literature classes, history classes. I'm right now doing an independent study, which is something incredible that Brown offers you, that you can basically create your own syllabus for a class, and I'm doing it on healing forums during the Guatemalan Civil War. So that's very meaningful to me. But yeah, just the amount of freedom was very surprising. Okay, any other questions? Let's see. Oh, there we go, yay. I also have a potentially broken toe, so this is kind of painful, but it's all good.
Hey, my name is Manny. I wanted to ask you, how was it like growing up for you?
Like in my town? Or? All right. Yeah, so I had a very interesting time, I think, growing up. Let's see. Like I said, grew up in an area that was pretty rural for most of my childhood, and then it started to become a bit more suburban. And I think that influenced a lot of my perspectives in terms of like what opportunities there were for me in the world. I think most of the people from my high school ended up just staying in like local colleges. And my parents both being immigrants, they were like, you should look further than that and just explore what there is. So that's kind of how I ended up here, yeah. Oh, another question, yay.
My name is Sophia, and like I wanted to ask, like, were you one of the first people like in your family to go to college? And if so, like, how was that? Like, how did you navigate through that?
Yeah, so both my parents actually went to college, but outside of the US. So that was also a very interesting dynamic. Definitely had the support for them to go to college. They were always encouraged me to do that. As far as how I did it here, obviously the systems are totally different, and that was something that I took charge on. I like talked to my counselors, that was a big one. I talked to my teachers, I found the people that supported me. And honestly, the internet is a big, big thing. You can Google search anything. I was watching so many videos before coming here that were like the day in the life of Brown students. So just kind of figuring that out. And also reaching out to programs. So like here on campus, we have the UFly Center. It's the Undocumented First Generation Low Income Center. And you can Google that on the internet and talk to people that lead that center and email them, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help for all the first gens. Yes. What made me interested in my major? Also, what's your name? Shanta. Nice to meet you. Also, Olubenga, just yell at me when we're about time. But for now, what made me interested in my major? So I worked in a hospital in high school. It was a program that there was where you could do rotations all across different fields. And I felt like a lot of it was very biomedical focused. So they were focused on what medications you were gonna get, what surgery you were gonna get, all of these treatments. And I was like, you're not looking at the person. Like, we need to look past that. We need to look at what's happening and why are you there. And so when I came here, I was actually interested in medical anthropology, which is kind of looking at the historical and social aspects of medicine. And I decided that I could do a lot of that through public health and at the same time get a lot of the public policy information from the public health courses. Yeah. Anyone else? Where are you? Yes. Yeah, did I take AP classes? That's so funny because I didn't realize schools just like, yeah, that schools either I feel like really push AP classes or don't, and like public schools, at least in my experience and talking to people here. So I took a lot of AP classes. Don't know if I would recommend taking as many as I did, but they're always very useful, particularly useful if you go to a school that accepts those credits. So Brown will offer you placement into higher level classes, but they don't offer it as a credit. So at least for me, it was a lot of really great experience. I was able to place into upper level biologies, upper level maths, so I don't regret taking them at all. By my senior year, basically every single one of my classes was an AP class, so it was really stressful, but yes. I think each junior, senior year, 5 each, I think, and then, yeah, my sophomore year, I think I took 2. So that was a lot. But I don't regret it at all, and I highly recommend taking them if they are offered to you. Yes. Did I apply for scholarships? So I applied for a few, a lot of them through the schools specifically. A lot of schools offer either academic-based scholarships or financial aid. Here on Brown, I am on financial aid, and we have need-blind admissions, which basically means that they will not be looking at how much need you individually as a student need when they either accept, or when they choose to accept you, hopefully. So I don't currently have any outside scholarships because I am receiving financial aid from the school. Yeah. Another question. 2 more questions. All right, here we go.
Hi. So for in like high school, what like made you stand out to like get in like your grades and all that stuff? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a complicated question. I do think, so I graduated from a high school that had a graduating class of 538 people, and I was number 13. They did the ranking, so I was definitely up there, but I do think a lot of people that were also up there in grades were not able to get into schools like this because they were just 100% classes, and they weren't doing anything outside of their classes. I did a lot of community work. Throughout the summers in high school, I went to Guatemala, actually, and worked in a home for people with disabilities, so that was a big thing for me. I did that every single summer, and I lived with my family there while I did that. So there's that. I did a lot of community service through my high school, so that was a lot more like accessible in the community. Just a lot of extracurriculars and figuring out what things you enjoy. I think a lot of times when they say do extracurriculars, it just seems like another burden, but when you think of them as a thing that you like love and you're trying to figure out what you want to do in the world, that's a great way to figure that out through extracurriculars. Yeah, what else? Here, last question.
How are the dorms on campus?
Oh, we have so many groups. I think in the past we've had like a cheese tasting society, a seafood society. There's just like all sorts of random things. But I know later we're actually gonna welcome another group that's Mariachi, so I'm gonna have the pleasure of introducing them. Like I said, I help lead the Somos Latinx Literary Arts magazine. That's my baby, I love her. You can find us on Instagram, Somos Magazine. I highly recommend looking at it. But there's something for everyone. There really is. I think there's like hundreds of orgs on campus, and their commitment ranges from anything from like very casual to a lot more strict. Like the dance groups, the music groups, those are pretty, like, you gotta show up. And then there's other ones where you just kind of pull up and get some free food. And so that's great. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, those are 2 questions. All right. Anyway, now we're gonna have some amazing speakers for you, and like I said, some music. So hopefully that will get you energized for the day. I'm gonna come back up here because I have my phone, I left it. Yes, so the first incredible person we are going to be welcoming is actually the person that makes a lot of this school possible, and that is President Christina Paxson. Thank you so much for coming here, and I am so excited to welcome President Paxson. President Paxson just celebrated her 10th anniversary as president of Brown. So, yeah. Through her leadership, she has elevated academics and research and supports the students, faculty, and staff who live and work at Brown. Please join me in welcoming President Paxson.
Here, I got it. Thank you so much. Wow, it's great to be here this morning. It's great to see all of you here. You know, all of you, I think, are maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 years away from going to college. And it might seem like a long way off, but it will be here before you know it. And the time to start thinking about it is now, if you haven't already. So you're going to have a lot of fun today. A lot of people here, including Smiley Martinez and Joshua Correa from the Annenberg Institute, Jody Soares from our events team, many other Brown faculty, staff, and students have worked really hard to put this day together. So can you please give them all a round of applause? Thank you. Okay, so we have more than, I've been told, 350 students with us today. It looks about like that number looking out right here. So I want to recognize all of the schools and organizations that are represented. When I call you out, and this is a contest, okay, I want to hear a cheer for your organization. So, okay, 360 High School. There we go. Arise. Arise did not arise this morning. Okay, Central Falls High School. Central High School. You might be in the lead there. Classical High School. Okay, E3 Academy. Yeah? Was that E3 Academy or not? Okay, whatever. Hope High School, our whoa, that's great. JSEC, Juanita Sanchez Education Complex. You may be in first place right now, that's great. Mount Pleasant High School. Do you want to repeat that? No, okay. Onward we learn. Okay, how about Providence Career and Technical Academy? Okay, School 1. We got School 1 back here. Shea High School. Okay, Times Squared or Times 2 Academy. Which one is it, squared or 2? Great, good to see you. And Tolman Senior High School. Where's Tolman? Okay, maybe it's because they're sitting up front, but Tolman, you are the winners. Thank you very much. I don't know what the prize is, but you got it. Okay, so let's settle down. Here, let me just tell you a little bit about what you're going to get out of today and a little bit about what I do at Brown University. So, you know, the hope here is that throughout the day, you get a little bit of a taste of what it's like to go to college at Brown, right? And I hope some of you do come to Brown. but also another great college or university right here in Rhode Island, around the country. We're actually really lucky because we have some great institutions of higher education right here in the state, CCRI, URI, RIC, and then places like Brown and RISD and Providence College and Salve Regina, really, really fantastic places, but you also don't have to stay in the state, even though we like it if you do. So by a show of hands, no peer pressure here, who already knows that they want to go to college? Okay, that's good. We got a lot of hands up. My hope is that, and I won't be here at the end of the day, but if somebody asked you that question at the end of the day, I hope to see every single hand go up in this room with enthusiasm, because it's really important to think about getting a credential, a degree, something after you finish high school. So what are you going to find out today? You're going to find out what it's like to be in a college classroom. You're going to find out what types of things you can study in college, from, the obvious things. People talk about, healthcare professions and pre-law and business and things like that. But there are also things like space exploration, right? Or, medieval literature, or, you can go on and on. There are subjects here, computer science, things that you may not even have had a chance to even think about as high school students. And one of the things that we love to do at Brown, and many universities do this, is you give students an opportunity to explore lots of new areas when they come in, because you're bound to fall in love with something that you may not even knew existed. So depending on what track you're going to take today, you'll get a chance to hear about sports and recreation. You'll hear about a number of other topics. You'll hear about, and you heard about this a little bit already, how students at Brown engage with the local Providence community. You may have seen Brown students volunteering in your schools. There are a lot of them out there. They also volunteer in nonprofit organizations across the city and the state, clinics. I was at the Rhode Island Free Clinic not long ago. There are Brown students there, as well as in our local city and state governments. And you'll have a great opportunity to talk to a lot of Brown students. And what I want you to do is ask them questions, right? Just like you were doing already this morning. Why did you come here? Where are you from? How are you financing your college education? You heard that Brown has very generous financial aid. There are options for students no matter where you go to make college affordable. And you'll get some idea about what might be a great place for you, what's a good fit, what would be fun. And we're going to have some surprises for you throughout the day. So one more thing. Let me tell you a little bit about my role. I remember walking across campus soon after the new first-year students came, and a student came up to me and said, "So you're the president?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "So you're like a principal, right?" And I said, "Well, yeah, sort of, in the sense that I lead this university, which is such a privilege and pleasure. I love, working with students and faculty, and that's all great. But Brown has over 9,000 students between undergraduates and graduate students, and about 1,900 faculty members, including a lot who are clinical faculty members who are out there working as doctors around the state. So it's a really big job. And my job is to set the vision and direction and work with a fabulous team of leaders here in the university, some faculty, some administrators, who really make the place work, and that's the best thing. Just to give you an idea of some of the things that we've done that really relate closely to the student experience, so those of you who are interested in Brown, listen up. We started, it was already noticed, something called the Undocumented First Generation College and Low-Income Student Center. Everything at Brown is an acronym. This is the UFly Center, and it's a communal space that really recognizes the strengths and wealth of resources that first-generation college students bring to our campus, and also provides the support that students really need to thrive when they're here. Another center that students love is the Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship. And that's the place to go if you're thinking, you know, I have an idea. We could start a business. I could start a business in this area, that area. It could be for profit business. It could be for the social good, or both. So a lot of Brown students are doing that. And then a couple years ago, we launched something called the Brown Promise, not to be confused with the Rhode Island Promise, which is also great, which provides free tuition to Community College of Rhode Island. What the Brown Promise does is it makes sure that all of the students who come to Brown who receive financial aid, and that's about half of our students, they have financial aid packages that have no loans in them, right? So the idea is for students to go to college, graduate without debt. That's really important. So, you know, there's so many great things about college. I think one of the best things, as I noted already, is that you get to decide which subjects interest you the most. You don't have to take every subject every semester. That's really fun. And, you know, that's how you get to try new things, learn about what you want, learn about leadership opportunities that are there for you. The final point that I would make is that college gives you an opportunity to build friendships, really close friendships, in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And you will meet students who are very different from you, who come from all over the country, all over the world, bring in different ideas, have different talents. And that's a really, really special thing. Brown prides itself on being a very diverse and caring and supportive community. So, you know, I tell students when they come here, some of their fiercest disagreements are going to be with students who become their lifelong friends. So my advice to you today, be engaged, be curious, ask questions, have fun, and enjoy lunch at the Ratty, which is a really special place. So thank you very much. Take care.
All right, can we have another round of applause for President Paxson? Yeah. Thank you so much. So now we're gonna welcome another incredible speaker. Our next speaker is Providence Mayor Brett Smiley. Mayor Smiley was elected as the 39th mayor of the city of Providence in November of 2022. His focus is on improving the quality of life for everyone by supporting quality schools, building safer streets, and improving city services in every neighborhood. Please welcome me in please join me in welcoming the mayor.
Thank you, Solange. Good morning, everybody. I want to, of course, welcome the students from Pawtucket and CF, but a special welcome to all the students from Providence Public Schools. We're so glad you're here. Thank you, President Paxson. I'm excited for all of you for the day that you're about to have, having a chance to feel what it's like to be a student on campus at a great university like Brown University should be such a fun day. It doesn't stink that it's going to be 70 degrees today, too, and you're going to see everyone out enjoying this incredible campus. We are so excited for your future and proud of you for what you've accomplished thus far. And I wasn't able to see everyone. I was sitting in front. I didn't see all the hands that went up, but I know that the fact that many of you have a plan to go to college or an aspirations to go to college is so important. And the students in our schools are brilliant. You all can achieve great things, but in order to move forward, you need to have a degree or credential beyond high school. And so your commitment to exploring this today and to figuring out what your plan is after graduation is critical. What I thought might be helpful was to share a little bit about my college experience, just to let you know that not every path is a straight line, and that there are some, in fact, zigs and zags along the way. And that's my story as well. I'm a product of good public schools and always had a plan to go to college. I started my freshman year at Emory University in Atlanta. I grew up in Chicago, and I was the high school senior who was a really good kid, never got in trouble, never did anything I wasn't supposed to do, and the first year I went away to school, I went nuts. And and not good nuts. And so for the first time in my life, I started to get bad grades. I had run track in high school. I ran track my freshman year in college. I wasn't running particularly well because I wasn't focused on sports. I wasn't focused on school. I was focused on all those other things. And that happens. And that might happen to you too, but my hope is that you stay committed to finishing your degree, which is what I did. But I decided I needed to transfer. The environment that I was in my freshman year was not a place that I felt like I was going to graduate in 4 years, and certainly not graduate with honors or with any distinctions along the way. And so I transferred to DePaul in Chicago, which was closer to home, and got much more serious about my studies, left my not particularly successful athletic career behind, and decided just to focus on getting that degree and getting a good job, which is exactly what happened. Interestingly, and I say this just because this is so common, my husband, who's a native Rhode Islander, my husband had a very similar story. He started at URI, did some of the same shenanigans his first year in college, decided to go to community college for a year to get his act back together, and then graduated from Bryant University. And that worked for him as well. And so just know that as you move forward in your career, in your educational journey, and I do hope that by the end of the day, every hand is up that you are going to move forward in your educational journey, because you have to. You have to have a degree or credential beyond high school if you want to have a life where you can support a family, be self-sufficient, be independent, and have the freedom and flexibility to choose what you want to do in life. But those first couple of steps outside of house after senior year in high school may not be perfect, but stick with it, because many people have taken some left turns and some right turns and some detours, but so long as you stay committed to staying on that path, you'll end up being the next mayor of the city of Providence. You'll end up being an educational leader like the superintendent or the commissioner or President Paxson. You'll be whatever it is that you want to be, so long as you keep that same commitment. So I'm thrilled that you all are here today. I hope you have a great day. We're proud of you. I look forward to being at many of your graduations because it's such an important milestone, but you're not done. You're not done after high school. Figure out what that plan is beyond high school, and good luck and enjoy today.
All right, can we thank the mayor one more time? Yay, okay. So now, speaking of student orgs, we are going to welcome one that has recently come back and with so much joy, and I'm really excited to be introducing them. So since 2005, Mariachi de Brown has been Brown University's official mariachi band. They are composed of undergrads and graduate students united by their love for mariachi music and Mexican culture. They perform in various campus-wide events, cultural festivities, private parties, and support philanthropic and community outreach efforts in the New England area. Please welcome me in joining Mariachi de Brown.
Yeah, one here. Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
I guess, can we get it in front of the board?
Oh, yeah.
In front of the board?
We'll probably just, yeah. Yeah.
I think we need one.
No, I think this is good. I think this is good. Honestly, do you think this is good? I think this is good, yeah. We'll share this one. Do you want to use this one?
We're definitely not centered.
Do you guys want
Good morning. Como sea, no, y'all are chilling. Y'all are chilling. Huh? Should we move up? Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We are Mariachi the Brown. We are so excited to be here with you guys. We will be singing a beautiful song called El Rey for you this morning, and we hope that you enjoy.
Bueno. Yo sé bien que estoy afuera, pero el día que yo me muera, sé que tendrás que llorar, llorar y llorar, llorar y llorar. Dirás que no me quisiste, pero vas a estar muy triste y así te me vas a quedar. Con dinero y sin dinero, yo hago siempre lo que quiero. Y mi palabra es la ley. No tengo trono ni reina, ni nadie que me comprenda, pero sigo siendo el rey. Otro grito para los Una piedra en el camino enseñó que mi destino era rodar y rodar, rodar y rodar, rodar y rodar. También me dijo un arriero que no hay que llegar primero, pero hay que saber llegar. Con dinero y sin dinero, yo hago siempre lo que quiero. Y mi palabra es la ley. No tengo trono ni reina, ni nadie que me comprenda, pero sigo siendo el rey.
Okay, can we have another round of applause? Wow. All right, so we're gonna have a couple more speakers. Let's see, hopefully that re-energized you before just a couple more people. So we would love to introduce the superintendent. So now we are honored to welcome Javier Montanez, Superintendent of the Providence Public School District. Dr. Montanez has dedicated nearly his entire career in education to supporting PPSD students as a teacher, assistant principal, and now superintendent. He attended Providence Public Schools. He understands the transformative power of education because it changed his life. Please join me in welcoming Superintendent Montanez.
This is not to look cool. First of all, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Brown University for hosting College Day. It is extremely important that you know that you are authors of your own story and your own lives, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I also want to say thank you to the Annenberg Institute School for Reform, as well as the Office of President for spearheading the initiatives. Right now, we had the opportunity, we had the pleasure, and I want to be grateful for the long-standing commitment that Brown has made to the Providence Public School students. PPSD has over 400 Brown University students working or volunteering in our district. Brown students have spent over 8,700 hours in our schools. So, for those of you who are sitting in front of me right now who are students, as our mayor stated, there are many paths. And life is about the choices you make. You are the authors of your story. I'll tell you a quick little story of this young man that I know that came from the projects in Brooklyn. Homeless by the age of 9. High school, Hope High, raise your hand. I'm an alum. So I attended Hope High School, and I'm gonna say in the 80s. And why I say that, I attended, but I didn't graduate. And that was tough. And those were, when we talk about the different paths that you take in life, I was in a path that I had no control over. I didn't know how to read. For many years, I was told that I wasn't smart enough, that I would end up being nothing less than someone in the street, someone in jail, or dead by the age of 18. That was my career. No one spoke to me about education. No one spoke to me about the possibilities. It took one teacher at Hope High School to change my life around, to see that I wasn't, as people said for many years, dumb. I was dyslexic. And I found a way to deal with it. And I made sure that I kept asking myself, in the late 80s, my first son was born. I was working in New York for $98 a week. I saw that. Yeah, right? But the thing was that becoming a father also made me think, I have to do better and be better for my family. So the first thing that came into my mind was, I must go into the military. I went to go join the military. They said, without a high school diploma or GED, you cannot come here. So I went back and took me a month to go for my GED. I did it. I read it 3 times when I received the letter. It says, congratulations, you have. I read it 3 times. Do you know why I read it 3 times? Because I still didn't believe in myself. So I had to read it 3 times because I was still looking for the little line that says, we regret to inform you. So I had to make sure that what I did in life will affect not only myself, but my new family. So I asked myself, if I go for my GED, and I did it in a month, I started asking myself this question that I want you to ask yourself the entire life is, what if? What if I go for 2 more years? So I did 2 years of college. That was my associates. I said, man, I did this. What else can I do? So I asked myself that question again. Can you say it with me? What if? Can I hear it again? So I went back and I did 2 more years of college. Now I have 4 years of college under my belt, and I did 4 years of college in 3.5 years because I went during the summer. So I started as a substitute teacher in New York City. In '96, I came back to Providence, and I applied for 2nd grade teaching job in Providence. I've been here ever since because I need to give back. I need to pay forward because the people in Providence is the ones that gave me the opportunity to be the person I am today. So I'm paying it forward. So I keep asking myself, what if? So now when you go back to school, right, some of you are ready to graduate, some of you are going to be graduating later. Think about the people who are around you who are supporting you. Those supports are really important. I had 4 friends. Well, I was one of the 4 friends that we got together when I started teaching. And then we asked that question again. What if we go for our masters? So we went to Rhode Island College and we did our master's in 2 years. A few years later, then we started asking the question again. So we decided to go for our doctorate. So right now I'm standing in front of you as a doctor from a student who came from the projects, who didn't know, who didn't believe, who didn't have faith. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because you can't believe what people say about you. You need to be the own author in your own lives and say, I'm going to write my own story. I have the power to do whatever I want in this lifetime. So guess what? As I sit in front of me and I see the wave of you all ready to go into that next stage in your life, have faith, believe in yourself, think wisely, get that support group around you, and always ask yourself, there you go. Have a great one.
Can we have another round of applause, please? Thank you so much for coming to talk to us. Our next speaker is Education Commissioner Angelica Infante-Green. Commissioner Infante-Green has focused her career on improving instruction for all students, particularly multilingual learners. She understands how important this is because she was a first-generation student who learned English in schools. She's also the parent of a child with special needs, and she has fought to replace a deficit view with an enrichment view for students who need more. Please welcome Commissioner Infante-Green.
So I'm going to start with what Dr. Montanez said. What if I would have gone before him? So today, I want to thank you for having me here, President Paxson, and for Brown for actually doing this for all of your students. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about myself and the importance of perseverance. So I, like Javier, I am the daughter of 2 immigrants from the Dominican Republic. Are there any Dominicans here? So you know what that means, right? We talk really fast and we yell. But in all seriousness, I was raised in New York City, born and raised in New York City. But I was raised on public assistance. We had food stamps in my house. And those of you may not know it, but back then they were actually paper and they were different colors. And my mother would send me to the grocery store and I would dread it because I didn't want to go with food stamps. I didn't want to go and buy with that money, that purple dollar, that orange dollar, that meant that I was poor. That was my reality. But even though we struggled, in my house, the most important thing was for me to go to school because my parents didn't have money to leave me. They didn't have a house to give me. They didn't have any of those things that maybe other people that I knew did have. So education was my way out. It was my only way out. Was it easy? No. Did I have to work hard? Yes. Did I succeed every time? No. When the mayor talked about a straight line, there is no straight line. That there isn't a straight line, you heard his story. There isn't. There were days that I thought I would give up. How many of you have had those days? And you said, you know, this is not for me. Well, guess what? It is for you. There's always tomorrow. There's always going to be things that try to stop you in life. How many of you know terrible things that happen to good people? There are things that have happened in my life that have said, you shouldn't go any further. But you can't, because tomorrow's another day. And no one gets to define what you do. You may not feel like the smartest kid in the class, because I know I didn't feel that way. And I have to tell you, if you are from an immigrant background or you're a student of color, it's hard. Because you sit at a table with people that have a different preparation. You sit at a table with people with different backgrounds that may not always understand what your journey has been. But when you sit at that table, sit up straight. Make sure that people understand you, and also make sure that people understand that you are hungry for success, that you want it. And there is no limit. No one has the right to limit you. It may take another path. It may be hard. It may take you longer. So what? It may not be like in every book. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you get there, that you see it, that you persist. That's what matters. That's what I want you to take in today. Even if it takes you longer, it doesn't matter. You can do it. No one gets to define it. The difference is focus on what you can do. And the things that you haven't learned yet, find the people around you that can help you get there. And I will tell you, I didn't understand this when my mother used to say this. Those of you that are Dominican or Latino, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. How many of you have heard that? For those of you that are not blessed to speak Spanish, it's basically tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are, who your peer group is. It matters, guys. Because you want to be with the people that are going in the same direction. Do you know why? Because you'll go faster. You'll learn from each other. You're on the same journey. That doesn't mean you don't have to hang out with other people. It just means to pick that peer group. Stay strong, continue to learn. Our teachers here today are going to be in classes because they continue to learn. We all learn each and every day. So I wish you much success. Don't let anything or anyone stop you from achieving your dream. Just focus on it, keep moving forward, and remember, there's a saying that many of you may know. Practice makes what? That's not it. Close. Practice makes permanent, because there's no such thing as perfection. That limits you. Practice makes permanent. The best baseball players, basketball players practice every single day. And that's what you need to do. Enjoy the day.
All right, please welcome back to the stage for another song, Mariachi the Brown.
Hello. Hi. I hope y'all didn't think we were done. We're going to have one more song for you today. It is called Los Laureles, and we hope that you enjoy it, and we are so grateful that you heard us today. Laureles tan verdes, que rosas tan encendidas. Si piensas abandonarme, mejor quítame la vida. Alza los ojos a verme si no estás comprometido. Eres mata de algodón que vives en el capullo. Ay, qué tristeza me da cuando te llenas de orgullo de ver a mi corazón enredado con el tuyo. Y eso, mi mariachi. Eres rosa de Castilla, que solo en mayo se ve. Quisiera hacerte un invite, pero la verdad no sé si tienes quien te lo evite. Mejor me separaré. Por ahí va la despedida, chinito, por tus quereres. La perdición de los hombres son las benditas mujeres, y aquí se acaban cantando los versos de los laureles. We are Mariachi the Brown. Thank you so much for having us.